Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back
to
it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay, choo-choo!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on a absolutely bonkers episode of Small Town Murder Express. As the Express episodes are always insane. We only have an hour, and we are going to cram a wild, insane murder story, because we get to a lot of these stories for the regular show. We'll go, man, that's the craziest thing I ever heard. I wish there was more information so we could do a whole show. And this show is like, oh, here it is. Here's the crazy of the crazy.
This is all you get.
So you're getting all the crazy here. Just want to tell you, shutupandgivememurder.com. Tickets are on sale for 2024. Get your tickets now, I'm telling you, because
hurry up.
Phoenix is sold out. Done.
And
it's in, what is it, November? November. That's done. And there's a few that are very close to that as well that are not anytime soon. So please get your tickets for those right now. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Please make sure you're buying the tickets from there, unless you want to get gouged by scalpers. But there's people who are selling them for outrageous amounts of money. Please don't buy those. We don't want people getting ripped off. And they're definitely, that's not us. So don't. People come to us and they like, why are you selling your tickets for this much? I'm not at all. We're definitely not. We would never do that. We're not insane. The audacity, the pure audacity of it all. So do that. Get your tickets to that and come see us because we are very excited. Everything is for sale. There it is. Patreon.com/crime and sports. That's where you get all of the bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get couple hundred bonus episodes to binge on right away. New ones every other week. 2 new episodes this week, which you're going to get for crime and sports, which you'll have access to, of course. We're going to talk about players with disabilities over the years. Boy. People with missing limbs playing sports. It's phenomenal and very crazy, and some of them are some odd sports we have never talked about. You want to see a guy play badminton with one leg? I'll show you. So we'll talk about it. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and the whole thing around it. And this, I mean, what obviously a horrible mess of a terrible thing that happened to her, to the mom, to this one, to that one. It's a disaster. We'll talk about all of it, and we have strong opinions on it, as you might imagine. That's patreon.com/crime and sports is where you do all of that. Right. And that said, I think it's time to get into this because my goodness. By the way, listen to your stupid opinions in crime and sports as well.
It's terrific.
Yeah, if you're not listening to your stupid opinions, you're missing an hour of laughs every week. You're blowing it. So let's do this. I think it's time, everybody, to sit back. What do you say, Jimmy? It's all clear the lungs here.
All right.
And let's all shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody. Okay. What do you say? Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Yeah, we shall.
We are going to Rhode Island today, our smallest state, and we're going to Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Is that right?
Yes, which the only reason I ever knew that existed as a child was that was where the Red Sox AAA was. So if you'd see baseball cards on the back, guys that played for the Red Sox, they'd have stats from Pawtucket, and I'd be like, where the fuck is that? It's in Rhode Island, as you might know here. It's about 45 minutes to Boston. So they get, I remember I've been here, they get all like the Boston news, and it's all Boston.
Oh, God. Everything right there gets all Boston
It's
all
all
the time.
Boston, It's overwhelmingly Red Sox country. Yeah. About 30 minutes to Foster, Rhode Island, which was our last episode 395, not answering the call of duty. And everything in Rhode Island is pretty close. It's all going to be 30 minutes, because the state is the size of like your backyard pretty much. And you don't even have that big, you don't even have a big lot. It's Phoenix. So but that's about how big the state is.
It's tiny.
Not big. Population of this town right now is 75,200. When this happened, it was a lot less. So we'll talk about that. Median household income here, $56,427, which is below the national average by more than $10,000. Median home price here, $322,600.
Who knew Pawtucket was so affordable?
I mean, nowadays, that would be affordable.
In comparison to fucking everywhere else in New England, especially, that's incredible.
Yeah, to be within driving distance of Boston if you could work there, and that's not bad. The motto here, join the evolution. Not revolution, evolution.
Okay.
They're getting fancy there.
Fuck does that mean?
Or their other motto is, you may have heard of us on Family Guy, which is the other one. So not quite as far-reaching, but whatever.
I think that's the minor league baseball team shirt you got me. I think it's the Pawtucket Clam Suckers or Clam Eaters. That's what it is. It's the Pawtucket Clam Eaters.
Yeah. The name Pawtucket is an Algonquin word for river fall. So there you go, if you wonder why they named it that. The first settler was a guy named Joseph Jenkins Jr.
That's too many J's.
Joseph Jenkins Jr. He came to the region from Lynn, Massachusetts, bought a bunch of acres of land in the 1600s, made a sawmill and a forge, and then the entire town was destroyed during the King Philip's War.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right, during King Philip's War. King Philip was pissed. Apparently, he was all sorts of pissed off. And
he wiped out Pawtucket?
And said, no more Pawtucket. We won't have it anymore. So, when that happens here. So other settlers followed, and they started planting shit and building shit, and they made ships here and all that sort of thing. By the 1920s, it was a mill town. Okay. One of these mill towns. All sorts of factories and stuff. Had a half dozen movie theaters, 24 hotels, and a lot of nice stores and houses, and it was a nice place, actually.
Sure, because it's close to the fucking ocean.
They had an ornate movie palace called Pawtucket's $1 Million Theater also that they built. That was a big deal. Now, some reviews of this town. Let's see here. This is a weird one for 5 stars. 5 stars. A local Italian restaurant that are the homeliest atmosphere in the world, along with retro music players at each booth and the most delicious chicken parmesan in the world. 5 stars, Pawtucket.
That's Pawtucket.
The whole place is an Italian restaurant where they come around with accordions and mandolins while you eat chicken parmesan.
And play, what did he say?
I don't know. I didn't understand a lot of that because this person, I don't know if English isn't their first language or
playing
what.
All your pop favorites on a mandolin.
Retro music players at each booth is what they say. So I think they come around and play shit.
Yeah.
Play old-fashioned shit for you probably on a mandolin or something.
That's annoying. I'm trying to fucking eat.
That is interesting here. 3 stars. I feel like Pawtucket/Providence gives you this code of everything. Okay?
What?
I don't know is there shit in the water? I don't know if there's like nuclear sites where they store nuclear waste and it's getting into the groundwater, or I don't know what's going on, but this is really confusing. Gives you this code of everything. It's hard to explain. Yeah, I guess so, because that makes
no sense. Give it a run.
You better give it a whirl, because I have no idea what you're talking about. If you can't explain it, don't put it out publicly. You're not ready for publication.
Don't bring it up.
It's not ready yet. Prepare your press release and then put it out. This is crazy. It's hard to explain. It's one of those places where you have to be in the moment. I'm going to read.
Getting even more vague by the second, my friend.
I feel like Pawtucket gives you this code of everything. It's hard to explain. It's one of those places where you have to be in the moment. Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds like a code that I don't have the decoder ring for at all. Also, you can't forget about the history of Providence and the great, wonderful things we have and do. That's like a World War. That's a World War II message that needs to be decoded. Like, you know, the gray fox rises at dawn. You're like, that's not right.
Is that a warning? Like, we're pretty badass around here. You come around here, we're gonna fuck you up.
Maybe. You never know. That's right. Who the hell knows? Are they drunk? What's going on in this town?
I don't know. You guys do clam chowder great, and you drink Sam Adams and Dunkin' Donuts. You do the same shit Boston does. Stop it.
It's same thing.
Not. You're not special.
Here's 1 star now. In the past year, the crime rate has increased tremendously, which I looked and that's not actually a fact.
Okay.
Yeah, the police do their job, but it doesn't stop people from committing more crimes.
Well, that's everywhere.
Well, yeah, you can't. No one's going to go to their houses and go, hey, don't do that. We wait till after they do it. And if they're then getting arrested, I don't know what else you really want from society at that point. We're trying our best. It makes everything unsafe, and people are starting to feel uncomfortable going out at nighttime. Okay. I don't know. That person sounds
stay
90
in your house
years old.
And be terrified. I don't know what to tell you.
That sounds like a 90-year-old person is what that sounds like. Things to do. Okay, here we go. This is exactly what you'd expect, obviously, when I read this. The Rhode Island Chinese Dragon Boat Races and Taiwan Day Festival.
The what?
Right? It's all a code, Jimmy. It's hard to explain. You have to be in the moment.
We embrace Chinese and Taiwanese culture around here.
That review is making more sense by the moment here. Join the thousands of people who attend every year for great entertainment, exciting competition, family fun, and a prime opportunity to learn more about Chinese and Taiwanese cultures with dragon boat races.
I had no idea.
I don't know anything about. They're looking for both for club teams, looking for a challenge, and amateur corporate teams looking to do team building.
That sounds so expensive. You have to have a boat?
Apparently, there's also a dumpling eating contest. So you can do that. I'd like to see that
inside me.
I'd like to see it on a boat. That would be fun.
Yeah. Loser has to walk the plank.
And then there is a yo-yo performance. Someone will perform yo-yo tricks. That is very fun there. So that's things to do. And lion dancers. which I think are the people that put the lions on, the big lion costume.
The long ones.
Yeah, one of those deals there.
Long lion dragon things. All right.
Yeah, and then they have races too, probably, and then try to eat as many dumplings as they can. That said, let's talk about some murder here.
Let's do it.
All right, let's talk about just a strange group of people here. Okay.
Oh.
Let's go back to 1993.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we were just talking about 1993 before we started, too, like exactly 1993.
What a time.
Yeah. Very interesting here. So 1993 put in action here. Let's all put our mindsets there. Put your cell phones away.
Nothing but Jordan and McDonald's commercials.
No, Jordan trying to sell you Gatorade and everything else. Michael Jordan sold you everything.
While he and Larry Bird played horse.
Yeah.
Incredibly.
You drink your Gatorade while eating your McDonald's and wearing your Hanes and dunking with your Nikes. That was
what a time.
What a story, Mark. So let's meet a young man who's 17 years old at this point in 93. So a guy like that would have been, almost like in high school when we were in high school. Like he would have been like a senior when we're a freshman or whatever. So or you're a freshman and I'm a sophomore. I don't know what the fuck. So I don't know. Either way.
2 years?
17. I think 2 years apart we are.
Yeah.
So his name is Bradley Kryla. Kryla.
Cool name.
Sounds like it's missing some letters, honestly. I feel like a vowel or two.
Sounds like a material you make like tactical shit out of.
Yeah, somebody like has shiny pants and you're like, those are cool. What are those? Oh, they're Kryla. Yeah, you should get them. No, they're stretchy, but they don't shrink. It's really nice. It's a good fabric. Yeah, Kryla.
There's a lot of places to put pocket knives.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now, Bradley Kryla, he was born 6 weeks premature, which a lot of people are. That's that's a range where
that's early.
It's early. Like my daughter was a month early. I mean,
really?
Yeah, she's a month. Well, yeah, my wife at the time almost died. She had, the thing where the blood pressure goes up, and they had to induce her, and it was like, hey, we're going to induce you, or you're going to die. Which one would you like?
Jesus.
So yeah, she was there. This guy, he's born 6 weeks prematurely. Only weighed 3 pounds 6 ounces, though. That's a little light.
Those last 6 weeks are.
I think there's a lot of growing going on.
Boy, do you? Yeah.
There's a lot
If you double every few weeks and you're a fucking sperm, it takes a little bit to get but that end part, it's like a 401k.
Yeah.
The last few years, you really suck it away.
It pumps it up pretty quick at the end there. That's how this works too. So yeah, things form. They harden up in the last 6 weeks as far as skulls.
Specifically bones.
Brains also, of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And his brain did not develop normally.
Really?
Bradley. No, he had, and this is, I don't know how to explain this, but several bumps on his head damaged the left frontal region. He's got big bumps on his head. He wasn't developed all. He wasn't done cooking yet.
No.
He's like a cookie that isn't quite, you know what I mean? It's a little gooey in the middle still.
You want that crisp.
That's, and that's the region that controls decision making. So he's obviously going to have a hard time growing up here.
Sure.
By age 4, this brain damage, he started to get severe migraine headaches by age 4.
Fuck.
And had them throughout.
At 4, you can't describe that.
No, just my head hurts really bad, and please turn the light off would be all, which is weird from a 4-year-old.
And when I say things, don't reply. Do not talk.
Just a cold washcloth over his forehead, like, please turn the light off while he lays there on a fucking daybed. You're like, what's going on here?
Turn the light off and don't say a fucking word.
Like a lady who's had too much wine by 4. You know what I mean?
Why did my 4-year-old just tell me? Not a fucking word.
Why is there a box of wine in the garbage? What's going on? So this kid obviously has it a little bit tough. In school, he had attention problems.
Sure.
No attention span and concentration problems, and obviously trouble with his decision making because his brain is damaged as well. Not a good learner here. By 17, he's got a pretty good stutter going on, number one, and he can't understand or recite the Pledge of Allegiance properly. Which,
at what age?
At 17. Which, if you're not from America, if you are not outside the United States, in school, every single day, the Pledge of Allegiance is said before classes start. So it's literally, he's been in school since he was 5 and has not learned this. He's heard it every single day. And that's something right there. One doctor said, quote, "He can't function like you and me."
Yeah.
Got some problems here. He's got a friend also. So he's got a buddy, though, by 17. And his buddy's name, his buddy is of average intelligence, and I think his skull was formed properly. So he's got a buddy with a fully formed skull. We're really... our expectations at this point are just, do you have a fully formed skull or not?
Have you got a skull?
That's where we are in this story, and it's only going to sink and sink. So his name is Derek Brown. He's 17. That's his buddy. Okay. So we got Derek Brown, and we got Bradley Kryla.
And he knows all the pledge.
He knows it all. Yeah, he's trying to teach it to Bradley, but it's not quite sticking.
Walking him through it.
Now, these two... they end up seeing on one evening. They know of this woman, and they end up conducting, we'll say, I guess, attempting to conduct business with her one evening. Her name is Sherry A. Roy, and I'm like...
what's she do?
Roy, like Goldie Hawn says in Overboard. She's 29 at the time, okay? Now, let's talk about Sherry a little bit, though, back when she was 18. This is now, 11 years earlier, so we're talking 1982. Sherry Roy. According to police,
oh boy,
Sherry, when she was 18, she was living with her grandmother, Agnes Beck, who is 75 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And during a quarrel at 10:40 at night at Grandma's house here, the grandmother sustained a large bruise over her right eye because Sherry hit this 75-year-old woman in the face with her fist. She punched Grandma in the eye at 18.
She hit with a left. She's got a hell of a left.
She fucking jacked her with a fucking... Yeah, that's wild.
God.
Imagine punching your grandma in the eye. Think about that. Think about how crazy. Well, my grandmother would have stabbed me if I punched her in the eye. That would have been that's a fight at that point.
My grandmother is suffering from dementia at a level that I can't fathom.
Jimmie, go over and just fucking rock her.
If I rocked that old lady, she would beat the piss out of me. Because at this point, she wouldn't even recognize me as a loved one. Yeah, she's willing to beat the piss. Oh, that crazy son of a bitch just hit me.
She's scared you're robbing her to begin with, so she's going to be on guard. This is like... I hope everybody, when I said she at 18 years old punched her 75-year-old grandmother in the eye, I hope everyone went, Jesus, holy shit.
That's uncalled for.
That's wild, because that is wild. To the point where her mother, not the grandma's mother, obviously, we're talking grandma's daughter, Sherry's mom, she called police to say, hey, we got a problem over here with this whole thing. My daughter just punched my mother in the face. So,
socked her in the eye.
Socked her in the eye, fucked her up. The cops came and arrest her for it because you can't punch old ladies. That's like as bad as it gets right there. That's like what are you going to go punch old ladies? That's so she was released on her own recognizance here, and she was charged with assault on an elderly person over 60, and there we go. And she's also, her grandmother's also handicapped as well. So
yeah, because she's 70.
A 75-year-old handicapped woman. She said, "Fuck you, Grandma," and punched her in the eye. Fuck you, Granny. That's crazy. So that's the old David Cross.
Clark didn't even punch Aunt Edna, and he had every reason to.
Oh, man. I mean, yeah, at least a little like, I hit her with an elbow. I'm sorry. Were you there? I didn't see you.
Didn't even trip her.
This broad just said, "What's up, bitch? Pow." Now, by 1993, she's 29 years old. She has 2 daughters by this time, about 6 and about 8 at this moment in time. Her daughters' ages are. She's also a pretty ravenous drug addict and a, quote, this is from the local police, quote, a known local prostitute as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not going well. It's going as well as you'd expect it to go for someone who punches their grandmother in the eye when they're fucking 18. She's obviously got some kind of issues going on here. That sounds like a drug thing.
Yeah, I didn't hear husband in there, and she has 2 children from early 20s, so it's going tough. In her late 20s, she's got 2 children? That's not easy.
No, it's not at all. I don't know if she needs a husband, probably. That might help, I guess.
No, I'm just saying a teammate while you have a ravenous drug problem might help.
Yeah, those people usually split, though. That's not... Yeah. Drug addicts tend to... they tend to just...
Tend to drive a wedge in relationships.
They tend to make their own teams on their own. Just me. So August 23rd, 1993. It's a nice summer night in 1993. Mm-hmm. Think about what we were doing in a nice summer night in 1993. It was something nicer than this. We'll put it that way. Yeah. This is at the Mineral Springs Cemetery. This all goes down.
What?
Yes. This is a city-owned cemetery. It's a small grassy knoll, and it's known by, this is from a newspaper, as, quote, hangout for drug addicts and prostitutes.
Oh, they all
very
just
nice.
Congregate at the cemetery.
Yep.
We're almost here. Might as well be.
A public place. I guess they're allowed to be there. So that night here, Bradley, Derek, and Sherry come together and emerge. They all converge together here and emerge from a dark alley and end up in a cemetery together. So here is a guy named Junior Green. Junior is his first name. So
fantastic. It's
going well for him as well. He is a friend of Bradley, and he said that Bradley drank malt liquor with him all day on August 23rd, and they had smoked marijuana together. So they're smoking weed, and they drank 40s is what they had, actually.
Yeah.
Brad drank about 3 40s that day, which is a lot.
Jesus.
We grew up in high school drinking 40s, and malt liquor's fucking strong, and 3 40s will knock your ass down.
You think it's OE or Mickey's? It's one of the two, though, isn't it?
Maybe. I don't know. This guy probably Crazy Horse. He's going with that, which tasted like piss. That shit was nasty.
Steel Reserve.
Oh, man. St. Ides was nasty, too. So now... back to Sherry. Sherry has a roommate named Harold Strobel, and he saw her about 10 p.m. that night. He said that he spent the day with her and that she left the house intending to purchase cigarettes at about 10 p.m. So she said, I'm going to go out and grab some cigarettes. And that was, he said last time he saw Sherry, she was headed in the direction of the cemetery that night, last time she saw her walking away from the house that night. Now, she entered the cemetery with the 2 of these kids, Derek Brown and Bradley Kryla, about 10 p.m. after they offered her crack cocaine.
Perfect.
They said, would you like some crack? And she said, absolutely. I was just going for cigarettes, but that sounds much better. So they said, sure, let's go into the cemetery, which is where everybody goes to smoke crack, apparently, in this town. So, and Roy, too, it's not been going well for her. She's been arrested twice in the last year on prostitution charges. So, yeah, this is not a once-in-a-while thing. If you're getting arrested a lot, that means that's your profession. I mean, you're
doing it way more than you're getting arrested.
Totally, that's what I mean. So the boys, they show up. They'd been drinking, smoking weed, and doing coke all day long, the 2 of them. So, they're, So apparently... there was some form of, and we'll find out exactly what happened, but there's some form of disagreement in the distribution of sexual favors here.
Oh.
Yes, because that's going to be the transaction here is,
Oh, sexual favors for the coke.
For the coke, yeah. That's how this is supposed to work. So when apparently she resisted something that was going on, they began punching and beating her with sticks.
What?
Punching and beating her with sticks. So she was struggling to crawl away from them as they had punched her and beat her with sticks. So one of them, and we'll find out who and exactly what happened here, picked up a 2-foot-tall, 77-pound tombstone.
Oh, my God.
That was loose. They grabbed a loose fucking gravestone.
A marker of a dead body and beat her with it?
And picked it up high and dropped it on her skull.
Holy shit.
Which completely shattered her fucking skull and crushed her brain, obviously.
That's enough, yeah.
Her brain is now worse than Bradley Kryla's. Yeah. It's bad times. That's horrible.
Wow.
That's imagine doing that to somebody. Imagine picking up a 77-pound fucking giant, a gravestone, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Let's not even talk about the moral aspects of taking someone else's gravestone away. but then using that to crush a woman's skull because she didn't fuck you how you wanted for crack.
For crack.
For crack. It gets seedier with every level you say that.
And then
it really does.
The bottom layer is real gross.
It's fucking disgusting. So, Junior Green, back to him again, his girlfriend Paula Gall. Does anyone have a good name in this entire thing? And this is coming from a Pietragallo, so I'm not sniping on names,
Green
trust me.
Dating Paula Gall.
Paula Gall. She said that Kryla and some other guy she didn't know came over to the house. That would be Derek Brown. That night. They showed up later on after midnight, covered in blood. Hi, guys. How you doing? Covered in blood here.
Popped over to a friend's house covered in blood.
I feel bad for Junior because if you're Junior and you're hanging out with your girl at your house and then your buddies pop over at midnight, that's not cool anyway. And then they're covered in blood. You got a lot of explaining to do later on. I'm telling you that.
Why are you here?
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
She said that Bradley looked nervous and was blinking often. Which, who knows why? That could be for anything. And
nervous tick.
And she found it odd that this is amazing. She found it. This is the most 1993 shit ever. She found it odd that he didn't laugh when she joked about AIDS as he washed the blood off his hands. He didn't even laugh at my AIDS joke. What the fuck, man? How weird is that?
It was a good joke.
It was a good joke. He didn't even laugh at it.
It wasn't even offensive.
Nothing. So, I don't even know.
I didn't even imply gay anal sex.
Not even a little bit. So now, Bradley's got a girlfriend, by the way. And I've said this many times. Guys who are out there and they're complaining they can't get any girls and all this
Hang
type
on,
of shit.
Man.
His brain his skull isn't even correct here. And he's got a girlfriend. So I don't want to hear your shit. There's somebody out there. You got to work for it. That's right. Yeah. So his girlfriend is Giselle Dovil.
He got a Giselle?
Giselle Dovil Ramento.
She sounds hot as fuck.
Dolivramento. That sounds like a hot woman.
Yes.
Giselle Dolivramento.
How did he get a Giselle?
It sounds like she's married to like a soccer player that makes a lot of money, right?
She's a smoke show. I guarantee it.
And his sister, Bradley's sister Natalie lives with Giselle. Okay. Now, Natalie says that's the sister, that Derek Brown and Brad came over to their house here and that Giselle washed their sneakers and threw Derek Brown's jeans away. So not only are you dating a Giselle, she's the down-ass bitch. She's like, I'll wash the blood out of your sneakers. That's wild.
Your smoke show is also a ride or die?
Yeah,
get out of here.
This is wild. Natalie said Bradley's eyes were very bloodshot and he looked pale and vomited soon after arriving. Bloody, pale, and vomiting.
A woman.
Bloody, pale, vomiting, and not laughing at AIDS jokes. There's something wrong with this guy. I'm telling you right now.
And she's still washing his clothes. Unbelievable.
Unreal. So the next morning at 8 a.m., a neighborhood woman is walking her dogs through the cemetery as she does on a morningly basis. And she finds the partly clothed body of Sherry Roy there, beaten, battered, and indistinguishable facially. Her head is so fucked up that they can't even recognize her. The local cops, when they get there, they know her. They arrest her all the time. They didn't recognize her. So that says something about what they did to this fucking poor woman. That's horrible. The medical examiner who performed the autopsy said that there were abrasions and scrapes over a large portion of her left facial area. Her shoulders had numerous abrasions on both the right front and right back. There was a bruise and a crescent defect in the area of her left ear, and there were numerous other abrasions covering her body. Also, she suffered substantial internal damage. He describes her brain and brainstem as having been pushed into small bits and pieces, quote unquote.
Good God.
Brain and brainstem squished into small bits and pieces.
Oh, God.
And that the base of her brain had been, quote, obliterated, and that the area where the brain sits was just pried right open, so the fracture defect area went from the top right through the nasal bone area. They crushed her skull from the back to the front. The back of her fucking brain hit her nose.
Oh, my God.
That's disturbing.
Fucked up, man.
That's not just dropping. That's driving 77 pounds into somebody from over your fucking head. And also, the doctor will later say that, or will say here, that Sherry was still alive when the tombstone injury occurred. So that she was alive. They were beating her within inches of her fucking life, and then did that to her because she was still crawling. And detectives, though, this is some handy dandy police work for 1993. Detectives were able to lift fingerprints from not only the tombstone, but also a broken tree limb that they believed was used to beat Roy. Great. That's good police work back then. Back then they used to say, like, before DNA was everything, they used to say, like, your department's fingerprint guy really makes or breaks a lot of things, because not all fingerprint people are created equal. Like, some of them are really good at pulling prints off of shit that other people aren't very good at pulling them off
worth
of.
his salt.
So apparently they got a good one over here. So not bad. Good for him. So the detectives, they work 65 straight hours to figure out to do this case. So at least they're not just saying, well, I don't know, it's a crackhead and we arrested her for prostitution a bunch, so fuck it, who cares? That's what happens, whatever. And then made an AIDS joke and walked away. So, it's better that they actually were working it. That's nice. And they were talking to everybody in the neighborhood, people who frequently visit, the other crackheads is what they're talking to. And, everyone that she knows, they talk to Harold. They try to retrace her steps of how she might have got there. The one thing about if someone is in this line of lifestyle, it's difficult to trace them a lot of times because they go places where no one can see them a lot, and they interact with a lot of people in a short amount of time, which is
and
both
the people
drugs
that
and
interact with her
prostitution.
Don't want to discuss it.
They don't want to discuss it, and a lot of them are on the shady side as well. So that's the other. There's so many suspects to deal with. That's why the fingerprints are so fucking important. So they finally learn that someone saw Sherry enter the cemetery with a couple of teenagers after midnight, or around midnight, somebody said, which was really about 10 p.m. They said that they were unclear exactly what was going on, but they did find out that one of the suspects did know her from before. He said they ran into her on the street, which is not uncommon in that area.
Sure.
Then they also learned from a neighborhood person who was wandering around that they saw that two males, teenagers, were seen apparently running from the cemetery covered in blood at 12:30 a.m. That's a problem.
Yeah,
hey, that's
find
weird.
Those two guys. Feel like we figured it out.
Fuck are we running covered in blood from a cemetery at midnight? Wow. Also,
she probably also felt like this is the safest possible interaction she's about to have tonight.
Yeah, it's two teenagers.
I mean?
They're 17.
Teenagers, and we're doing this for crack. This should be
in
great. And out done. Yeah,
they'll take 2 seconds, and I'll get some crack, and it's over.
Then I go get cigarettes.
Go get on my way. Yeah, I don't know. So during this investigation, the detective said he received 2 anonymous calls from a man who provided him with some information. Then he asked the man to stop by the detective division and talk to him, and the man he talked to was Bradley Kryla. That's the guy who was calling. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is August 26th, so 3 days later. His father, Bradley's father, told him that the police were looking for him. He said because he had borrowed a funnel from a gas station without paying for it. So he stole a funnel from a gas station.
Yeah, that's not that's called theft.
He said
shoplifting.
He said he was planning on bringing it back.
Okay.
But you used it. It's a funnel. Now it's not. You gonna sell it to somebody else now?
Yeah. What did you run down it? Because sometimes you can't get that shit out.
No.
You can't get fucking brake fluid out of the grooves in a funnel.
I'm not paying for someone else's funnel. Fuck you.
No.
So that way he thought he had to talk to the cops about that. Later that day, Bradley and his girlfriend approached their apartment and saw a cop car parked outside the house. They were like, uh-oh. He said he didn't know whether police were looking for him because of the funnel or for other reasons.
That's terrible.
That's not great. So
everything from funnels to murder.
Could be anything in between. Drugs, funnels, drugs, murder, all sorts of stuff going on.
Crazy, yeah.
So he's told his girlfriend here, he told Giselle to go on ahead of him to find out what was happening. You go up and walk and see if they ask you. Find out if they ask you about me.
Yeah.
So the officers handcuffed her and put her in the police car and drove away. So she didn't come back with any answers. They cuffed her. He then said he waited for the officers to return to the spot because he said he decided he was just going to get this over with. Uh-huh. Okay, talking to them. So this detective shows up at the apartment driving an unmarked police car. He walks up to Brad Kryla, asks his name, and said, "Would you come with me to the police station?" And Brad said, "Sure. Hop in the car. Let's do this."
Okay.
They get to the police station here. They put him in the detective's, the interrogation room, and they're talking to him. Then they have people waiting there. There's also bringing other people in at the same time. They're bringing in Derek Brown. Giselle sitting there. The whole crew.
So far, they've done a terrific job.
Yeah, they really have. So they're talking to him. Both of these idiots are going to make pretty incriminating statements to the police here.
About each other or about themselves?
Themselves, each other, everybody.
Oh, terrific.
But you can tell who's dumber because Kryla's is a lot about himself and Derek Brown is like, oh, it's all that guy, which is kind of not believable. So they videotaped Kryla's statement. They said he remained very calm and he describes the crime in great detail. And at one point in the middle of describing how they horribly and brutally murdered a woman, he said he's very hungry.
Oh?
Just starving. Just really could use a nosh before I talk more about this woman's crushed skull.
I mashed a headstone into a woman. Guys got a cheeseburger around here?
I mean,
what?
Doesn't that make you hungry? It's just, wow.
You guys got a vending machine?
Is something I can get? One of the detectives said he was very cooperative. He admitted that he was in the cemetery with another male. He admitted hitting the girl. Well, that's pretty much all you need at that point because she's dead. He said that he drank beer and played video games with his friend, that's Junior, in Pawtucket. And that evening, after he consumed about 3 to 4 40-ounces, Jesus Christ, he said that he and another teenager split. It was they split 640s, so who knows? Is what it was. He said we were trashed. That was his
I would
quote.
say so.
He said also, he tells the detective that he tried cocaine for the first time that night.
Oh.
And he said his whole body was numb. Okay, yeah, that's about right. He said he accompanied Derek Brown to West Avenue where they met up with Sherry Roy, who they said was trying to find drugs. She was like, who's got fucking coke, right? Mm-hmm. So now he said that he admits that he's a drug dealer, but he also said he never tried cocaine before. He's been selling it, but he never gave it a whirl until tonight. Don't believe you there, you're a liar. Right. So he said he agreed to provide her with drugs in exchange for sex. Okay. That's the transaction. So, yeah, except secretly, Kryla and Brown here, Brad and Derek, got together and agreed with each other. They made a plan that they're like, we'll let her do, we'll let all the fucking happen, but then we're going to bounce and not give her shit. We're going to stiff her on the drugs. That was their plan, to stiff this lady. Yeah. So, which is fucked up. I'm sorry. On any level.
Super fucked up.
On any level. I don't care if it's like you're buying a $2 million house and something was in escrow and you did a shitty deal, or whether you go, let's let this lady suck our dicks and then not give her the crack. It's just scummy. Be a person of your word.
Don't go into a strip club and get lap dances and then argue that you got 5 songs and not 6.
That's what I mean.
Pay and let the woman go. For Christ's sake.
Be happy that service is available to you.
It's amazing.
Should be thanking your lucky stars, you fucking misformed, skull-headed asshole. So they walked into the cemetery to do this. At some point here, Brad has sexual relations of some kind. I guess, I think, regular sex here with her. Brown suggested to Brad that it's not good enough to just walk away and not give her the drugs. We should kill her as well.
What?
And this is what Brad's telling the cops. And Brad said, yeah, you're right. He agreed. So he's telling the cops that he agreed. He said that he and Derek feared that Sherry would report this to other people, not to the cops. Word would get around the neighborhood that they'll stiff a prostitute for crack. And we can't let that get out. Our whole rep will be ruined at that point.
We pay our bills. Let's not.
This is crazy. Jesus. Yeah, we don't want to get a bad reputation
our
here.
Street cred rating is going to go down.
Yeah, that's the street credit rating.
FICO.
It's not even street FICO. Yeah, it's not street cred. It's actual street credit. So according to Kryla, he said Derek Brown threw the first punch, and then Brad jumped in and started kicking Sherry. He said soon Sherry's face was covered in blood and she was coughing and moaning on the ground. And he said in the course of all this, he picked up a stick, Brad did, what he called, or what they later called, a substantial stick, a good size
it's not a
one.
Stick, it's a fucking log.
It's a branch, a large branch, and used it to bash her in the face.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. That is, I guess they said that she repeatedly kept trying to get back up again. She kept that's a tough lady. I mean, think about it.
That's a New England broad. Yeah, they are tough as shit.
A New England street crackhead prostitute. Yeah. She's tough, man. That's a tough lady. She's on the street
taken this
a lot.
before, and she's about to deliver her blows next.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She's tough. And so they said she was really tough. But each time she'd get beaten down more by sticks and feet and fists. Brad said, quote, she's not fighting us. She's just fighting to live, I guess. That was what they said. They said, was she trying to attack you back? Was she scratching at you? And he said, no, she was just trying to get away from them, trying to crawl away to not die because their scumbags are beating her. So it was fucking terrible. So they said that they were in disbelief and really frustrated that she was still alive. They're like, what the fuck? She won't die. So at that point, Brad said that Derek Brown picked up the 78.5 pound, it wasn't 77, 78.5 pound tombstone and dropped it onto her head.
Call it 80. It doesn't matter. That's fucked up.
It's a lot. It's disgusting. Wow. So I guess he said that he had trouble running after her while he was carrying the headstone, even with her crawling. It's very heavy. And they said that... he hit her with the tombstone, left the tombstone lying over her face as well, smashed her with it and left it on top of her, and then they ran from the cemetery covered in blood like idiots. Now, Derek Brown, he said that Bradley administered the beating while he stood back and watched.
Mm-hmm.
What's more believable? We both did it equally, or I stood back and watched while this guy did it. So, yeah. He said that the only reason why he's here, he said that he heard that Kryla was being questioned by the police, and he didn't want Kryla to turn on him and say that he did everything, so he'd come in and he's going to implicate Kryla.
Yeah,
that's
so
how we're doing
I want
it.
him to say, I did everything, so I'm here to say he did everything.
That's it. He did it all.
Making it even more believable.
Yeah. That's how it is. He did everything. He said that that Kryla had consumed a lot of alcohol and a lot of drugs, and that Kryla was in his own world that night. And he said that Derek Brown basically is like, not even like there in his version. He's just like this. He's like a surveillance camera that's floating near them, on the wall.
He's a drone that watched the whole thing happen.
Yeah, just a fly on the wall. He's eye in the sky. That's all he is.
I'm the security guard that watched from CCTV and did nothing.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy, too. He said that Kryla was the one who spoke to Sherry, and that it was Kryla's idea to go to the cemetery. He said he'd never been in the cemetery before because he was, quote, scared of the dark.
Okay.
That's just a scaredy cat. He's just a scaredy cat. He's too...
Oh, wait till you see Prison, man.
Wow. Scared of the dark.
All those monsters you think are in the cemetery, I know where they really are.
Let's trade a prostitute crack for sex. I'm scared of the dark. Those two sentences don't go together. Sorry.
We're going to fuck in the cemetery that I'm terrified of.
Terrified. He said he only went there because that Brad had told everyone to go in there. Brad is really in charge, obviously.
For a man with a scrambled noggin, he's really, he's leading it.
Like we said about Chris Benoit, the proof is in the pudding brain. And so Brown said that he just sat in the cemetery and watched as Brad and Sherry engaged in sexual intercourse, which he stated was consensual. Uh-huh. He said that he couldn't remember whether he also engaged in sexual intercourse with her. He can't. A 17-year-old can remember every girl that's ever accidentally rubbed on his dick as she walked by. Are you kidding me?
Are you, James?
That's what I mean. Every last touching of my penis is logged and locked and locked. This is crazy. To say that 3 days ago, I can't remember if I had my dick inside somebody at 17 is insane.
You remember, and you remember that because in a moment of loneliness, you're going to tug to that.
That's exactly right. This is a nuts. So, yeah, he said, wow. He said at that point, after Brad and Sherry had gotten finished, he said they began to argue, and that's when it all started. He said he didn't know why. He said he didn't know why they were fighting, but he did hear. He heard it mentioned that Roy asked Brad for some kind of drugs, like blow or coke or something, and at that point, that's when Brad started beating her up and then picked up a tombstone and began pummeling her with the tombstone.
Okay.
He said he was standing next to Sherry at that time, and she reached out for Derek Brown, grabbed onto him, and cried, "Help me, help me." And he said that he responded by pushing her away. Wow. He said that he recalled that Sherry was covered in blood as when he pushed her away, and that her blood spilled onto his pants and shirt. So that's how he got blood on him, was she came to him. Yeah, obviously. So he's trying to explain away his shit. The other one wasn't smart enough to figure out how to make a lie. That's the only reason why this is.
She bled on me like Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
That's how it was just, I was just on the side, and he came to me and pulled himself up.
Tripped me down and bled all over my face.
You know how it goes. According to Brown, Sherry was trying to run but couldn't get away, and he said that he wasn't even there for the end of the beating, Derek said. He said, I had decided to leave while Brad was still beating Sherry. He said as he was leaving, he heard Brad yell to him, and then they left together. And he said when they left, he said Sherry was, quote, just lying there shaking.
Oh, Jesus. Man.
Horrifying. So they both get fucking arrested, obviously. Yeah, on charges that they raped and killed a woman. That's what their charges are.
Good charges, yeah.
Yeah, they said
bad ones, but that's the right ones.
Yeah. Seriously. So they said they would. They're going to have. They're in juvenile the juvenile court, but they're going to try to transfer them to the adult court because they're 17. But I'm sorry. If you're trading fucking blow for sex and then
you're
killing
35.
a woman, that's what I mean. You're 42. You have an ankle bracelet on from fucking being in jail a while back. You are 5 years behind in child support. I don't want to hear it.
You fucked your life away for sure.
If you had,
you're an adult, friend.
If you had a job, your wages would be garnished right now, and you know it for lack of child support. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, it's great. Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options. Nice. It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So the police said that, they've been trying to rid the area of drugs and crime, but it hasn't happened, obviously. So they're wondering what the fuck the motive was here. Like, because they probably could have just got away from this lady. They're 17. The one detective said there was really no clear-cut motive. Just said, and neither of these kids have ever been in serious trouble before either. This isn't like, Yeah, they've never tried to kill anyone before, so this is a weird first crime.
But they've been tiptoeing down this lane for quite some time.
Yeah.
Being involved in the drug industry underground like that for so long. You don't start selling drugs today and then tomorrow offer a prostitute crack for a blowjob.
No.
You know what I mean? You've been doing this a while.
That's down the road. Yeah, but this isn't like somebody owed them money, so they attack. This is this is insane.
This is just scummy.
Exactly. It's just dirty and gross. So his lawyer, Kryla's lawyer, is going to argue that he should get bail, saying that his client was really intoxicated at the time.
Okay.
So there was no premeditation. So it's at best, second degree or even lower, maybe manslaughter. So we should do that. Why not? Now, the attorney general here said that Kryla was a bail risk, saying that several years ago, his mother filed a complaint with the Pawtucket police saying her son had threatened to kill her, but she later withdrew the complaint. So they're like, threatened to kill mom, dropped a tombstone on someone's head. Let's just hang on to this guy for a while. What do you say?
It and now he's done it. So
yeah, let's maybe do that. He said that the police, though, they said that his detailed statements to police suggest that he was not so intoxicated that he lost all use of his faculties because he remembered everything. So he wasn't blackout drunk or, blacked out, whatever the fuck. His evaluation here, they send him to a place to get evaluated to find out if he's able to stand trial. They find out that he suffers from ADHD, which we figured. He has several cognitive disorders, which, again, we knew about. Alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine dependence, so he definitely wasn't his first time doing it that night.
Right. Yeah.
And also brain damage and migraines that exacerbate all of his problems. They said, one doctor said, quote, his condition makes him like a very fast race car that has no brakes in it, which seems dangerous. They said the cognitive disorder impairs his speech, critical thinking, and decision-making. But they say, we're still going to hang on to him and charge him with murder.
Yeah.
Don't care. So his whole defense is he's too dumb to do this. Just too stupid to plan anything.
I could never figure this out.
No, he's too stupid to premeditate anything, they said. They said he has diminished capacity, which is a specific legal terminology in Rhode Island for this.
Yeah, he's too diminished to be able to plan anything at all.
Yes. He couldn't plan his Taco Bell order on his way up to the drive-thru, is what they're saying. Like, he's not capable. If he eats
lunch, he's lucky that he ate it.
Yeah, he didn't plan to eat it. It was spontaneous. I'm hungry, and he grabbed a sandwich. He didn't leave the house going, I'm going to go to Subway, and I'm going to get a turkey sandwich. That's all
right.
He's A to B. Not once you add C to the thing, anything could happen. Gravestones are dropped on people's heads. So the trial here for Kryla, it's for first-degree murder. He's got a jury of 10 women and 4 men, a couple of alternates there.
Sure.
And he was being held at the juvenile facility, but then they moved him to the adult facility because they're both going to be charged as adults, like we said. Now, for diminished capacity, they're trying to say they're not arguing that he's innocent, but they're seeking a manslaughter conviction, saying he had diminished capacity that prevented him from forming the intent to kill that defines murder. They said his mental disorder, combined with 80 to 120 ounces of malt liquor, two or three, quote, marijuana blunts, and between a half a gram and a gram of cocaine, all of which he claims to have consumed, and there is proof that he did consume this, other people back it up, on August 23rd, could trigger a complete loss of control. And they said he's incapable. The standard for diminished capacity in Rhode Island is that mental impairment was such to, quote, completely paralyze the will of the defendant, to take from him the power to withstand evil impulses and render his mind incapable of forming any sane design. Ranting, raving, drooling, snarling lunatic is what that describes.
All because he had, apart from the booze, a minimal, a right up the middle amount of something.
Yeah, I've seen people way more fucked up than that. And
yeah, that's a pretty good night of intoxication. But the night that we did
somebody.
The 420 live show, I consumed more than that minus the Coke, but I certainly put more
but the Coke
more of
evens out the booze. That's the other thing.
Right. That shouldn't sober you up a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. That's why people do coke and drink, because you can.
I was more fucked
like a
up
gas
than
and a clutch. You can. Yeah. Jimmie was way more. You should have seen him eat a sandwich. It was hilarious. Way more fucked up.
I couldn't eat a sandwich and watch a TV show at the same time, though. So I don't know how this guy was able to figure out how to score a blowjob and then murder after it. That's
Wheel
crazy.
and deal. Have sex also. His dick worked.
Right.
Everything was fine there. Now, the psychologists that they have say he has damage to the part of his brain that governs decision-making and suffered from severe migraine headaches since he was 4. They do say his IQ for Kryla is 105, which is decent.
That's not bad.
That's average, yeah. So they're like, that's not bad at all. They said, so he is hampered by the ADHD, though, and everything. But that's weird, though. Yeah, he can't do a lot of things, but he's also got a decent IQ. They said he can't concentrate or process information or make decisions like ordinary people. He can't stop acting impulsively or think about what he's doing, to stop and think about it. So they say all of that. That's their defense here. Okay. So now they said that Kryla told the cop that he would talk about having sex, and that when he saw how badly they had injured Sherry Roy, he knew they would have to kill her at that point. When she stopped moving, Kryla told the detective that he couldn't bear to touch her. And the prosecutor says, well, that indicates that he knew something wrong happened. In my opinion, his will was not completely paralyzed. He was not completely unable of forming any sane design. Which, that sounds like he's putting 2 and 2 together. So,
yeah, feels like he's got regret.
That's what it is. Now, in a closing statement, the prosecutor said that don't accept his excuse for a gruesome crime. The defense said there is no excuse. They said that it's not an excuse. He's got problems.
It's an explanation.
Yeah, it's an explanation. And the prosecutor said there's no excuse. Tell him I don't accept your excuse. As the people of the state of Rhode Island, we don't accept his excuse. That was first-degree murder. So the verdict, 4.5 hours of deliberation. And they were just trying to figure out whether it was murder or manslaughter here. And they find him guilty of first-degree murder.
Yeah.
First-degree murder, yes. During sentencing, they had Sherry Roy's family, because her family still, she wasn't like estranged or anything like that.
She's got people around.
So people were saying that one of her family members said that, and this I don't like when they do this, but she said that violence is so rampant among teenagers that only the harshest punishment for offenders can keep ever younger people from committing increasingly brutal crimes. If you grew up if you were a teenager in the 90s like we were, it was like target number 1. You guys, fuck you. If they shoplift, you have to put them in prison for 5 years so they know not to shoplift. It was crazy.
You got to make an example of them so that their friends know what's coming for them when they fuck up.
Yeah, and that didn't work, and so we figured that out. So then they did speak of how her daughters are growing up without a mother now, and this is all legitimate stuff here. They said when Bradley Kryla took Sherry's life, he murdered the souls of her 2 children.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they said she destroyed the whole family. Her sister said, Mr. Kryla, when you flirt with the devil, you dance in hell. Wow.
Holy.
Is that a Johnny Cash lyric?
It's certainly a lyric from something, right?
I think it is. I think it is. She whipped that right out. True justice will be when Bradley Kryla meets his maker. My goodness. Okay. So they say, you, sir, may fuck off, life in prison, but the prosecutors did not request life without parole because this happened when he was under 18 and there'd be an appealable issue at that point. So he may begin to apply for parole after 15 years. So it's 15-year minimum here. Now, Derek Brown, he comes in, and they have all of the witnesses that they had in the trial. It's the same people. It's a severed trial, but same people. Giselle testifies saying that they came over. She washed blood off his heels, shoelaces, and soles of his sneakers in her bathtub, then asked her what happened. He responded by telling her, quote, he thinks he killed a woman.
Oh
that's what he told Giselle, his friend's girlfriend there.
Hot-ass Giselle that?
Told Giselle that shit. That is wild. So they also they tried to attack the validity of the fingerprints. That's part of the defense. And but there's so many people saying he was covered in blood. It's hard to deny any of this shit.
Yeah.
They also said that someone had a phone conversation with him later on, and he told them that he had to lay low after what happened in the cemetery. So that's not great.
Idiot.
That's not going to work out well. Giselle is like the star witness, though, because she washed the blood off, and he told her about the blood. She also mentions that Kryla asked her to clean his green sweatpants and sneakers and Brown's as well. Hey, take all our bloody shit and clean it.
She is so down.
You got to be like, in the mafia for years and have like a big house and a couple of Cadillacs to go home and tell your wife to wash the blood out of your clothes. That's insane.
She's an actual angel.
Yeah, Carmela Soprano will wash the blood out of your clothes because,
Yeah, because she likes this house.
She likes this house and she just ordered new furniture, but
doesn't mind the ducks in the pool. Yeah, this is bullshit.
This is nothing. She also said that when they were all in the police station together, remember I said they all took him into the police station together? While they were waiting to go in, Brown looked over to Giselle and said, "Don't say nothing or I'll kill you." Yeah. Wow. She said that police told her to not worry about that because he's getting locked up, so he's not killing anybody.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's how that worked. Now they bring in the medical evidence as well. All these blown up photographs of the body and the face, and that looks terrible. It's hard. I mean, if you're a jury and you have to look at a crushed skull and a mashed face like that, it's a lot.
That's powerful.
Yeah. He does say, though, Brown had called the police station the day after the body was discovered, and he identified himself and told the detective that he had seen two men going into the cemetery with a woman. Not me, but two other men.
There were some people.
And that night as she was walking home, the next day Brown came to the police station and asked to speak with him. He added a bit to the story, saying the two men had chased him to the Division Street Bridge and threatened him as well.
Oh.
And then they were like, well, your friend's in there telling us exactly what happened. And then he was like, oh, yeah, he did all that shit, not me. I watched. So that's pretty fucking wild here. Another person said also they heard on the street Kryla say to Brown, "Come on, Derek, let's go rob her."
So that part was rob her but they're getting sex. So this
I guess
it's premeditated as fuck, man.
Yeah. In the closing, his lawyer said he just watched Brad Kryla go crazy. There was blood everywhere. Said it upset him enough to call the police. I suggest to you that no action Derek Brown took that night justifies convicting him of murder. Okay.
Really?
The attorney general said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Quote, "The beating occurred over time and over an extended place, and that's important. The beating site covered 103 feet.
Wow.
Because they kept beating her and she was crawling away for that far.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So they're like, come on. They said the struggles were a mess. There's blood, like actual, you can tell where she's been beaten at many spots in this time, too. So they're like, come on. This is crazy. He said, all hell is breaking loose in that cemetery, and she's running and fighting for her life, and then looks at Brown and says, she's trying to get out of there, and what or who is preventing it? These fucking idiots, basically.
Yeah.
Yep. And they said, by the way, they're both, even if everything he said in the police interview is true, they're both equally guilty. Yeah. Doesn't matter. He said it makes no difference who inflicted the injury. They're both
neither
involved
stops
in this.
the other. Yeah.
That's right. So this verdict comes in, 3 men, 9 women on the jury, and they find him guilty. Obviously, he's going to be found guilty of first-degree murder again.
Yes.
Yeah. You, sir, may fuck off. Life in prison for you as well. Again, the prosecutors do not request life without parole, and so they could have
for him too,
but they didn't. So he can apply after 15. Sherry's dad, Alfred, said it makes me feel somewhat better that he's going to get something. Truth in sentencing is what they need, or capital punishment. Wow. So there you go. They said that her parents said, yes, she had drug problems. She's been involved in prostitution, but obviously they said she was a good woman and a dearly loved daughter, and the mother to 2 little girls. And they said they're raising the girls now.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
That's wild. So September 22nd, 2010, Derek Brown's released on parole.
What?
Yeah, released on parole.
Oh, my God.
That seems fast. Wow. The terms of his parole prohibit him from leaving Rhode Island without his parole officer's permission and restrict him from drinking intoxicating beverages or using any drugs, obviously.
Yeah.
So, January 7th, 2011. Okay. Scant months later, he's driving on I-95 westbound near the Mill Street overpass when he lost control of his vehicle.
No. What?
Responding state troopers found the heavily damaged car on its roof with a young woman sitting outside the car, bleeding from her ears, mouth, and head.
Oh, my God.
They arrested Brown as he ran from the scene. Eyes were bloodshot, speech slurred when he told a trooper he was trying to get help for his girlfriend. He also did not cooperate with the authorities in any way, wouldn't take a breathalyzer. At the time, by the way, he's wearing a fucking ankle bracelet. Yeah, fucking GPS. I mean, come on, dude.
You're not getting away,
Where
man.
are you running from? Background check as they look at his bracelet and they go, let's find out what he's on for.
Yeah.
So they found out he was on lifetime parole after just being released from state prison on murder charges. So,
And he almost killed another woman.
Yeah, she's bleeding from multiple orifices.
God.
So they said that he is charged with operating a motor vehicle under the influence, leaving the scene of a personal injury, failing to stop for police, and refusing to identify himself with police. Yeah. You, sir, may fuck off. 2.5 years in the Dartmouth House of Corrections. He must serve 1 year, but after he's released from there, he will be sent to the parole board, and then they get to do whatever they want with him from there. And then they can impose more sentence if they feel like it. So June of 2011, Brad Kryla graduates from college in prison.
Unbelievable.
He said, I'm the only person in my family that graduated college. I want to give back to the youth because I came in as a kid at 17. I want to teach them to stay away from doing the things that will get them into trouble, like alcohol and drugs. You're a great role model. And murder is the main one there.
Are you also the only one in your family who's been convicted of murder?
I'm the only one who got my prison degree while I was convicted of murder.
Wow.
May 2012, Brad gets early release as well.
Oh, my God.
And then he moved to Florida.
Really?
Which makes sense, honestly. So he had to, apply for it, and they let him. And, they said, quote, I don't think Floridians would find it amusing that we let murderers out after only 13 years. Well, 2022, Brad is arrested here. I found a good one for him. This is recently, May of 2022. He's arrested. He is arrested for retail theft, 2 counts, and also being an out-of-state fugitive while doing that, which is also not allowed. So, he's going to have to deal with that in court. And that, everybody, is Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
I hope
you
Derek's
enjoyed
back
that.
in prison, man.
He's going to, because again, that now the parole board, they have lifetime parole. So anytime they want, if they get in trouble, the parole board can go, well, here's another 5 years and throw them back in.
Wow.
So that's wild shit. If you like that show and any of the shows we do, please tell the world about it. Tell everyone you know about it. Leave a review on whatever app you're listening on. They do help the show and help drive us up the charts. We don't know why, but that's the way it is. So thanks for doing that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get tickets for live shows. All the shows are for sale, and they're going fast. Phoenix is already sold out, and a couple others are pretty goddamn close, and that is in November. So definitely get your tickets right now. Yeah. Only buy them from the site. Don't do the third-party sites unless you want to pay a lot more if they're sold out or something. But
don't give somebody else money. That's fine.
If there's tickets available on our site, buy those because they're actually we're not gouging you or anything.
They're real.
Scalpers are awful. So definitely watch out on that one. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all the bonus material. $5 a month or above gets you shitloads of back catalog bonus materials, new ones every other week. One crime and sports, one small town murder, and you get it all. This week is no different. For crime and sports, we're going to talk about players with disabilities. Yes. Think about Jim Abbott, one hand throwing a no-hitter, or a guy with one leg playing badminton.
There's more?
Crazy shit. There's tons more. We'll talk about that. Then for small town murder, we're going to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, that whole weirdness, her fucking crazy mom, the whole deal, her odd little boyfriend, her weird shit. We'll talk about everything. We have strong opinions. We hope you do too. That is patreon.com/crime and sports. Follow on social media at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Listen to Crime and Sports and Your Stupid Opinions. I was laughing during that, sorry. Crime and Sports, Your Stupid Opinions. And keep hanging out with us over and over again, and we'll be back next week. You can't stop us, goddammit. Until next week, it's been our pleasure. If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.